I think a congratulations are in order here. The New York Knicks didn't screw up this offseason. I had this bad feeling that they were actually going to sign Gordon Hayward to an ungodly albatross contract, or trade for Russell Westbrook so they can be somewhat competitive next season. And I was relieved Knicks executive Leon Rose didn't end up doing that. That just would have been so Knicks. They're actually being patient for once, which in my opinion should be celebrated. Fans deserve a properly constructed team that can compete for many years in the long view, and Leon Rose shouldn't skip any steps. I'm not sure how patient the Knicks will stay, but I like what I'm seeing at the moment, so I am cautiously optimistic. In this video, we will do a realistic breakdown of the next 2 seasons for the Knicks and why I'm cautiously optimistic. We will evaluate the moves Leon Rose already made, the core building blocks the Knicks already have, and how they will be set up to acquire amazing young prospects in future drafts, as well as how they can sign elite free agents down the line. But before we jump into it, if you enjoy this video, subscribe, hit the like button, and remember to turn on the bell notifications for fresh new content. Also, feel free to leave a comment on your thoughts on the Knicks' future down below. I try and respond to most people the first week the video is up. So, let's start with the Knicks selecting New York native Obi Toppin with the 8th pick in the draft. I think they were actually surprised he fell to them, and according to reports, the Knicks wanted to trade up to select him, so they managed to get their guy. Toppin is a super athletic and explosive dunker. He can be very dangerous in the pick and roll, running the break, can be effective as a cutter, and can finish with either hand around the basket. He is also a solid shooter and playmaker out of the post. I do think he'll have a lot of work to do if he wants to develop into an all-star though. I believe the biggest area of concern with Toppin is that he's limited as a defender, whether it's in the pick and roll, managing to put himself in the right position, or as a help defender and rebounder. I think he's going to also have a hard time staying in front of his man one-on-one, considering he doesn't move well laterally. Also, the fact that he is older than many other prospects worries me a little bit. Doesn't mean he can't explode and become an all-star one day. I think it was a solid pick, but I like Tyrese Halliburton, Deni Avdija, and Devin Vassell more for the Knicks at that 8th spot. I did think it was encouraging that Leon Rose protected the Knicks' cap flexibility by bringing in solid vets like Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks on 1-year deals, and Austin Rivers on a fantastic 3-year $10 million deal, which is reportedly only guaranteed the first year of the deal. Leon Rose then took on Ed Davis from the Jazz for 2 second-round picks in exchange for cash, and then later flipped Davis to the Wolves for an interesting young prospect in Amari Spellman and a flyer on Jacob Evans, as well as another future second-round pick. I believe these moves will help the Knicks down the line, and I was pleasantly surprised that Leon Rose was able to get this creative. And in terms of what the Knicks already have, I must say they have a solid youthful core to build with. I think guys like Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barret, and Obi Toppin will benefit from a season playing without fans in a stable environment surrounded by proven coaches. This will also be super beneficial for young guys facing make or break seasons like Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, and Dennis Smith Jr. Ntilikina in particular I'm still actually very high on, and we'll discuss him at length later in the video. I think that RJ Barret and Mitchell Robinson have the potential to develop into all-stars one day. Barret had an up and down rookie season, but had a very promising final 11 games after the all-star break to finish the season averaging 17.2 points, 4.5 rebounds on 45% shooting from the field. He will likely be given a lot more of a load on offense this season under Tom Thibodeau, and will likely be able to play through his mistakes. I see a lot of the offense running through him this season. I think he's going to continue to make positive strides in his development. I also hope that Coach Tibbs gives Mitchell Robinson the ample opportunity to play through his mistakes as well. The kid has a lot of potential. He actually set an NBA record by converting on 74.2% of his field goal attempts last season. If he can just stay out of foul trouble, he can be super productive and disruptive on the defensive side for the Knicks. He has ridiculous length, athleticism, and potential to make him a game-altering player. Mitchell has been putting in work to get stronger and has reportedly put on 10 pounds over the summer, which will help him down low. He is already effective defensively and just needs to keep working on his fundamentals. If Mitchell can disrupt on defense and block shots without being reckless by lunging, reaching, and fouling, he will be very dangerous. And by the way, I do have a feeling that Frank Ntilikina is gonna get some legit playing time. I think he will earn Coach Tibbs' trust with his length and high defensive IQ. Frank Ntilikina will likely never be a star player or their point guard of the future, but I still believe in him as a player who can be their defensive dog and as a guy who can rack up multiple all-defensive team selections. He will be very valuable to the Knicks the moment they can have consistent scoring on their squad. Ntilikina is already one of the better defenders in the league that can lock up guards and then take on bigger wings because of his frame and instincts. And I know that fans think he is terrible on offense, but I think that there's a way that he can be effective on offense. I believe the better way to utilize him is by having him play off ball more and having him knock down corner threes. I know he averaged 31% from downtown, but Ntilikina actually shot 52% on corner threes last season per cleaning the glass. He also connected on 86% of his free throw attempts, which is a good sign that he can develop his shot. Ntilikina can also be effective as a secondary facilitator, which could be a nice role for him considering he will be surrounded by guys who want to score next season. I believe that having a clear role will be great for his development. It's also hard to develop when you're on your 4th head coach in 4 seasons. But I do think that Coach Tibbs will be great for Ntilikina's development. The New York Knicks are projected to be one of the worst teams in the league next season, and I think that's exactly what this team needs. This way they can develop the young guys in peace without the pressure of winning, all the while being in prime position to having one of the top picks in an incredibly loaded 2021 NBA draft. Most teams will be trying to make the postseason next year, which will leave a ton of room for the Knicks to secure one of the top picks and a possible future superstar in the draft. Now, I know that the joke is that the Knicks will probably fail at the draft lottery, and statistically they usually do. The New York Knicks have failed to jump in the lottery since 1985, and on average their pick changes 0.72 in the wrong direction according to 538. What's nice though is that the Knicks will be armed with an additional first round pick that they acquired from the Mavs, and 3 second round picks. This will give them more option in terms of moving up in the draft if they need to. Either way, they will have plenty of great prospects to choose from in the top 5. Building through the draft will be key, and Knicks fans have to be patient if they want their team built properly. The Knicks will be armed with max cap space next offseason, but unless they can bring in Giannis, they should resist paying for someone that will take them out of a rebuild prematurely. The Knicks need to stay on the path of acquiring young talent through the draft for at least the next 2 seasons, so that they can create a strong young core and develop the young guys they already have. Once that young core is established in a couple seasons and they start winning some games, this Knicks team will be far more attractive of a destination for superstars in 2022 or 2023. And unless the Knicks screw it up, they will have max cap space to sign that player. If they don't rush this rebuild, the Knicks will have a very bright future. I like what I'm seeing so far from Leon Rose, which is why I'm cautiously optimistic. What do you guys think is the best way for the Knicks to rebuild? Let me know in the comments section. I do respond to most people the first week the video is up. And once again, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe and hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching. Till the next one, guys, I'm out.